Hello. Um, so I'm not in a very good way today. So I just want to talk a little bit about, the rough days of mold avoidance. So I had an exposure. Well, last Thursday, I had a little scare at one of these campsites here. A guy driving by a lot, and I just didn't, I got a little scare. So I packed everything up and then I went to look at that house in Trigo, which I found out since is no longer for rent because they're going to sell it. So that was a long drive and I was exhausted and I didn't know where I was going and I had a meltdown, pulled over. I was, like I said, just exhausted. And I had found out that someone that I knew had passed away and just a lot going on. Still no closing date on my house. Still no resolution about how the money's going to be divided after the closing happens. So that's weighing heavily on my mind. I feel like, my life is like a ticking time bomb because, look at this van. It's 20 years old. It has bald tires. It has a rusty gas tank. Now there's a headlight out. It's the kind of vehicle that's stuff's going to keep breaking. I'm literally afraid to take it very far away from, I just, so, I ended up sleeping here last night. This is like on the road to Camp 32. Couldn't even make it the whole way. Um, I stayed in this other place, up off the grid in Kootenai for a couple days. And I felt okay there, but I just kept feeling this weird feeling, like, I don't know, and I had this weird taste on my tongue, and I was like, "What is that?" And I think it was flame retardants. I think because that area of the forest had a fire, I don't know how many years ago. So last night I went to Bible study, and I'm not sure what's going on with my system, if I'm on overload or intensification, or I don't know what's going on, but when I left there, man, I was a mess. I cried, I was confused. I had all the symptoms of a chemical exposure, which means that I'm mentally compromised. And when I get like that, obviously I can't make good decisions. I knew I was hungry. So the first thing was I drove to the nearest place I knew that had like just a picnic table and I ate some tuna. I don't dare eat tuna or cook eggs or anything like that at night. And I eat my protein at night at my campsite because I'm afraid that the bears will smell it and come running because, bears are a very real problem here in northwestern Montana, especially when you're camping off the grid. So I stopped and ate, and then I started driving to my old camping spot at Camp 32, and I was, I almost feel drunk, because I'm impaired. And so I ended up pulling over here. And what was the exposure? I think that it was sitting in a room at a church with, 12, 13 people that all use dryer sheets or in different scented products. Even though no one was wearing cologne per se, all of those chemicals swirling around in the room for an hour and a half closed up, it was just too much for me. And my system was already, I guess, in a weakened state. So I had a bad exposure. And, there's things that I do. I breathed in some oxygen out of my canned oxygen. I took some supplements that can help with it. But I still had to go through all the hell of a fragrance exposure, which includes crying, being confused, having suicidal thoughts. So I'm just grateful that I got here into good air and, I combat those. I had to decon when I got here. So what that means is taking off my clothes, pouring a gallon of water over my whole body, and changing my clothes, which is heartbreaking and hard because the way I do laundry, First of all, I don't have very many clothes right now. I mean, so many of my clothes have been contaminated, and I don't have a way to get new ones really. Um, so, um, that was just, and I had changed to go to Bible study. So it was like, oh, great, 2 outfits in one day. And so I'm just going to show you a little bit about how I live, you know. So this is, I cooked some hard-boiled eggs here, and I'm going to peel them here and then have them ready so that I'm not cooking at night. I don't know if that's even really helps, but so here's, ooh, there's a butterfly. So here's how I do laundry. I put my clothes in this bucket, and that's some borax washing soda and a little bit of soap with about 2 gallons of water poured into there, which it's hard because I have to haul the water. So this is how I haul the water. I have to put it in something plastic because if one of the jugs leaks onto the carpet of this van, I could get mold. I don't have a platform or anything for my mattress. So that makes it hard. It means that wherever I stop to sleep, I have to take stuff out of the van in order to open up my mattress and spread out my blankets and sleep. And that's rough in van life. I mean, I wish that I could just pull over and sleep places, you know, but I don't have it worked out where I can do that right now. Most people have a platform, but I can't do a platform out of wood. And I haven't, people build them out of plastic shelving, or sometimes they use a metal cot, but I have been so far from civilization that I don't even have a place to buy anything like that, you know. So when I first get up in the morning, I take my blankets and I put them, I have a little folding, like a laundry thing. It's, well, blankets. My one blanket is that old sleeping bag. My other blanket got contaminated, and then I spray them. First I spray with hydrogen peroxide, and then I spray with alcohol. That the alcohol has a little bit of tea tree oil in it, and you know, it's kind of like trying to decontaminate my blankets. And then that's my pillow on top there. So I have to do that, and it's a lot of work every day, you know, every day. And then one of the things when I first wake up, like in the middle, like maybe I would say about 5 or 6 a.m., I try to remember on an empty stomach to take activated charcoal, because it's a binder, and especially I had to do it today. So I did that, and then, you know, drank some water and went back to sleep. I'm almost out of water right now. And then I do this thing where I scrape my tongue and do coconut oil pulling, because I still have a lot of toxic stuff in my mouth. And, you know, and then brush my teeth, and then take my tinctures, because tinctures have to be taken on an empty stomach. So I don't know. It's just a lot of work, you guys, and I'm tired, and I'm sad, and I'm lonely today, you know. I feel like, you know, I so wanted connection. I so wanted to be, just see people, just be part of something, just, you know, yeah, connection. Um, that's why I went to that Bible study, and, you know, I can't do it again, obviously, you know, it's just breaking my heart because the price was too high. I mean, I had suicidal thoughts for hours that I had to combat with the Word of God, and so, you know, I lived through it because I know that it's not me. I know that it's just the chemicals having an effect on my brain. So, um, I don't know. I would just really appreciate your prayers because, you know, I can't even think. Somebody said, well, what are you going to do for winter? I was like, you know, are you trying? I felt like saying, are you trying to give me an anxiety attack? Because I don't know what I'm going to do for winter, because I don't know what I'm doing today. I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow. I'm literally surviving minute by minute, you know, and yeah, what am I going to do for winter? Why do you think I was looking at that apartment in Trigo? Or that, well, really what it was a apartment up over a garage, and these people live pretty close to, they're on the grid because they do have power, but they're like miles out in the wilderness. And so, and they don't use any chemicals in their household. So I was pretty excited about it. And now it's not for rent anymore because the people that own it are selling, because they're tenants too, the people that showed it to me. So I'm just tired, I just feel like I need a rest, but I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what I'm doing, and I have to figure something out. So I guess the first priority is to, get clear. I wish I could just stay here all day because this is where the clean air is. So I think I'm just going to drive. I'm going to stay here for most of the day, and I'll probably come back here tonight. And I'll probably have to drive into town so that I can get water and ice, and get internet for a little while anyway. And just try to get in and get out as quick as possible and get back to the good air. Um, it's just hard, you guys. It's hard. But, when I think back, like, you choose your hard, I mean, would I rather still be bedridden in my moldy house, not being able to breathe, my feet so swollen that I could barely walk, my legs so swollen that I could barely walk, um, you know, I still have a little bit of shortness of breath, but I had way more shortness of breath before. So I don't know. I just, you know, I trust God that He's going to make a way where there is no way, I do. He's made a way for me before when there was no way. He's made a way for a lot of His people when there was no way, you know. But I'm just kind of, my back's against the wall today. And so if you're watching this, I would just ask you to please pray for me, that I would know what God's will is and that I would have the strength to carry it out. So thank you for watching.